Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly revolutionary moment in modern thought, J. Krishnamurti's 1971 Santa Monica public talk. This single lecture completely challenged absolutely everything we think we know about wellness, global change, and human psychology. If you think finding a guru or joining the next big political movement is the key to inner peace or world harmony, well, prepare to have your perspective entirely shifted. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Why hasn't human civilization solved its own misery? I mean, when Krishnamurti looked at the world in 1971, and frankly, you could easily apply this to the world today, he observed a vast, overwhelming confusion. He pointed out these incredibly deep divisions everywhere, in politics, in religion, in the world of science and sociology. Despite all our so-called progress, we are still just incredibly confused and unfortunately very violent.
Section 1. The global crisis and the vain search for solutions.
You see, humanity is caught up in this vast machine of division. We are constantly trying to fix our deeply rooted human sorrow with external, bureaucratic structures. Krishnamurti looked at this and held the view that no political system, whether it's left-wing Marxism, right-wing capitalism, or any other bureaucratic setup, can ever actually solve human misery. He neutrally, but firmly, reported that an external organization simply cannot fix a fundamentally broken human mind. If the human mind remains brutal and competitive, it's inevitably going to corrupt whatever efficient new system it builds. It's practically guaranteed.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the mind-bending paradigm shift it introduces. You and I are the world. It's such a simple sentence, right? But he isn't just throwing out a poetic concept here. He presents this as an absolute, concrete fact. The inner world of the individual and the outward world of society are not two separate things at all.
Section 2. The illusion of separation. We tend to think that if we just fix the environment, we'll somehow be fixed. But our daily mind, with all of its greed, its brutality, competition, and prejudice, that is exactly what creates this brutal outer environment. We literally cannot separate the mess out in the world from the mess inside ourselves. And this leads to a really fascinating redefinition of who we actually are. We usually think of individuality as being totally separate from others, but Krishnamurti points out that the word individuality literally means undivided or indivisible, a total unity. By that definition, he argues, humans are not currently true individuals. Right now, we're totally broken up, fragmented, and full of contradictions inside. So what does this all mean? If the outer world can't save us, and we're utterly broken and fragmented inside, who do we turn to for help? I mean, this is a totally natural human tendency. The second we feel disturbed or confused, we immediately look outward for security and authority. Section 3. The illusion of authority. Because our human brains constantly demand security just to function without disturbance, we hide. Some of us hide in neuroticism, others in drug cultures, religious sects, or fierce political dogmas. We constantly rely on specialists and gurus to tell us exactly how to live. And here is the typical playbook for spiritual seeking. Step 1, find a guru. Step 2, repeat a mantra daily. Step 3, completely conform to their authority. Krishnamurti absolutely tears this mechanical approach to shreds. He argues that practicing repetition day after day just makes your mind mechanical. It's a massive trap of dependency. It breeds fear and imitation, not genuine freedom. And he makes this brilliant distinction here between independence and freedom. We almost always confuse the two. Think about it. If you rebel against a system or a teacher to become independent, your reaction is still totally dependent on that original system. You've really just swapped one form of dependency for another. True freedom, on the other hand, has absolutely no quality of dependency at all. Seeking out a teacher or a guru actually strips away this true freedom. Section 4. Observing without a center. So the crucial point is, if we throw away the gurus and ditch the mechanical mantras, what is the actual solution? Well, it requires understanding what Krishnamurti means by the center. The center is essentially the ego. It's this incredibly heavy collection of all your conclusions, your prejudices, your cultural conditioning, your beliefs, and every past experience you've ever had. It is the exact lens through which we constantly judge and distort reality. Let me ask you directly, right now, as you're watching this explainer, how do you observe the world? When you look at a tree, or your partner, or even a political event, are you really looking at it directly? Or are you looking at it through the biased, smudged lens of your past, your center, and all your prepackaged opinions? Because when we observe through that prejudice center, a really dangerous chain reaction happens. First, it creates an immediate division between you, the observer, and the thing you are looking at. And wherever there is division, there is inevitably going to be contradiction. That contradiction breeds conflict in literally all of our relationships. And ultimately, observing life through a bias center entirely prevents true learning and true freedom.
To counteract this entirely, Krishnamurti redefines attention. True attention isn't just furrowing your brow and focusing really hard. He describes it as the total abandonment of the me, the ego. It means listening and observing so completely with your nerves, your brain, and your mind that the self is entirely absent and completely quiet. In that state of pure attention, there simply are no problems because the me that creates all those problems isn't even there.
Section 5, the meditation trap.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really intense moment from the source material. During the talk, a teacher of transcendental meditation actually claimed their practice brought about cosmic consciousness and more love. Well, Krishnamurti didn't hold back at all. He listed what is actually required for true meditation. It requires a life of great austerity, tremendous compassion, a deep inner order born of righteous behavior, and profound self-knowing. If you haven't laid this solid foundation, he argued, just sitting down to mechanically repeat a mantra is a complete waste of time. It's just a form of emotional self-indulgence. He ties this deeply personal inner work right back to the fate of the outer world. He says, if you start with organizing without compassion, you're going to create a monstrous world. True compassion, which is only born from clear observation and the absence of the ego, naturally organizes society perfectly. Mere bureaucracy born from our confused and divided minds only destroys it. Let's move to Section 6 and see how this builds to a radical psychological revolution. This builds right to the absolute climax of his message, the undeniable necessity for a complete inward transformation. We cannot rely on the slow crawl of evolution or the next election cycle to save us. The human mind has to fundamentally change right now, living right here in this world. But incredibly, and this is key, without the action of will. It is not about forcing yourself to be better. It's an instantaneous clarity that happens when you observe what is, totally and completely, without any judgment or desire to escape it. Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought. Can your mind undergo a radical revolution today, not by following some new guru, not by repeating a catchy phrase, and not by joining a new organization, but by simply, deeply observing your own mind and utterly abandoning your center? It's a huge, challenging proposition, but perhaps it's the only one that can truly change the world. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks a completely new way of looking at your reality.